Great Wednesday, everyone. Great Wednesday. Give you guys a few minutes to come on. Just a few minutes to come on. I'm excited to be on today. I know I'm on a little bit late. I've been busy here in the office, so I am your host, Dr. Tara T. Stallings, and it is Wisdom Wednesday. Wisdom Wednesday is a segment of my Let's Talk Tara podcast, which usually views every fourth Saturday. This month, it will be the fifth Saturday. And here on Wisdom Wednesday, I share nuggets of wisdom regarding every aspect of life that will not only educate, empower, but inspire you to your next level of greatness. So follow me and join me here live every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time at Let's Talk Tara. Make sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We got some great things planned for the year. So make sure you subscribe. Hello, Angela. Thank you for joining me. I'm not going to be on long today, but I do want to address the topic because I've been hearing it, and I think now is the time to address it. And this is for everyone across the board. Now, if you don't know that I am a believer in Jesus, Yeshua, I am a believer. I'm a kingdom citizen. And I don't knock anybody for whatever they believe, because that's your business. That's your walk. And I respect it for whatever it is. But I do have an issue when people, whether it's on a religious, if it's from a religious perspective or even a life perspective, when it comes to accountability. So today I want to talk to you, and this is regarding the statement. And of course, I've heard enough of it to respond to it, because I've had this conversation with many people. And let me just say this is not an attack on Kirk Franklin for what he said at the leadership conference. This is not an attack on him. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm saying what I'm saying because I've heard a lot of people say this, and it just boils down to accountability. It boils down to accountability. And the statement was, he was sharing that being a Christian, being a believer is hard. That it's hard enough being a believer, and it's hard work being a believer. Now, anything is hard if you don't want to do it. Let me say that. I don't care. Now, this is just from the religious perspective, whether you're a Buddhist, whether you're a believer, whether you're a Christian, whether you are nothing, whether you are Jehovah's Witness, whatever it is, anything is hard. One, if you don't want to do it in the beginning. Two, as it relates to religion, relationships, career, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to do it. And if it's difficult for you to do something or be somewhere or commit to something, my question to you is, why are you doing it? If it's difficult to you. Now, let me say this. Everything in life has its challenges because it's life. The best career, the best relationship, anything that you do that's worth something, it's going to have challenges because it's just life. But I want to really kind of hone in today as I talk about having accountability, and when people make the statement as it relates to church, because this stems from Kirk Franklin making that statement that being a believer is hard. And I'm just trying to figure out, why is it so hard? I've heard people say that being married is hard. Being at certain jobs is hard. It's difficult. Now, again, with all things being equal, everything has its difficulties because it's life. But if it's that difficult for you, why are you still there? If something is that difficult for you, my question is, why are you in it, and why are you still there? Why? Because things are only difficult to the point where you really don't want to do them, but you feel like you're obligated to do it. Let me say that. Things are only difficult to where you really don't want to do it, but you feel obligated to do it because you really don't want to do it in the first place. And I'm going to give you my examples of my experiences. And I'm just being transparent today. I remember when my husband and I, at the time, we separated, we divorced. It was horrible. A lot of people, you guys already know that story. And normally, when you separate, and me being a believer, kingdom citizen, I'm going to say that, when you separate and you start back living your life, or you start dating again, the first thing you want to do is, if you're dating someone, you want to have sexual relationships. Let me just be honest. You know, me personally, my nature, very sexual. The first thing to do when you got you a boo, you have sex. I mean, that was the norm. That was the norm. Whether you were a believer or not a believer, that's what most people do. But with me building my relationship with Christ, reading my Bible, fornication it was a sin then, is a sin now. So this is my story. Y'all do what y'all want to do. This is my story. These are my experiences. So I'm praying and seeking God, and I'm like, okay, God, this is hard. Me trying to navigate singleness, trying to date, and trying to please God, trying to live up to what the word of God and his command says. And I shared in my prayer time many of times, God, this is hard. I said those words, God, this is hard. And I will never forget, I was in my kitchen. I had a beige robe on at the time, and I was complaining. I was proclaiming. That's what it was. I was pray and complaining at the same time. And I kept saying, God, this is so hard, blah, blah, blah. Why do I have to do this? This is difficult. I got feelings. And of course, you have people that you talk to, and you just human, and God knows your flesh, and God knows your heart, and all of that great stuff that people tell you. So in the kitchen that particular day, I was complaining, and I heard almost like an audible voice, you guys. And Holy Spirit said this to me. It's only hard because you don't want to do it. It is only hard because you don't want to do it. And it took me back because I had to be honest with myself. It is difficult because I didn't want to do that. What I wanted to do was be bent over, turned up. I'm just going to be honest. But I had to take the time and step back and say, well, you know what, God, you're right. It is difficult because I really did not want to sustain from sexual activities. I did not want to do it. So yes, it was hard. And yes, I was complaining. And I was trying to figure a way out how I can get out of this or do it and be, what we say, be legit or be good. But the only way was either I was going to do it or I was not, or I was going to sit there and complain about something that I really wanted to do. And as I was reevaluating my life as it relates to things being hard, only because you really don't want to do it. And it took me back to when I was a child, or teenager rather. I was a teenager. And I used to hate washing dishes. I mean, to the point where I dreaded washing dishes. And every time my mama used to say, going in, that was something that I had to do, was wash dishes, clean up the kitchen. My mom would say this: go clean the kitchen. I hate this. It's just hard cleaning up the kitchen. This. She said, my mama used to curse, cause your A, you don't want to do it. It's hard to do things that you really don't want to do. So as it being a believer, if you're a husband or a wife, or if you're in a career, if you're trying to exercise and eat right and be healthy, and you're having a struggle with it, in whatever it is, the struggle is going to be much harder or amplified if, in fact, you really don't want to do it. So if you don't want to do something, it's going to be a struggle for you because you don't want to do it. So for me to hear a supposedly, I'm going to call him an influence because he influences people, a gospel singer, a supposedly Christian or a man of God or whatever y'all want to call people, to say on a public platform and to see people stand up and agree with him, like edging him on, even the panelists saying that, oh, it's hard being a Christian. My question is, why are you there? Because you don't have to be one. You don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be a wife. You don't have to be a mother. You don't have to be a husband. You don't have to have the career that you're in. You don't have to do this. These are your choices. Choose ye this day. You don't have to. So when people say, oh, it's really hard, evidently you don't want to do it. And then my question to you is, who's making you do it? Or are you there to save face? Are you there because you don't want people to talk about you? Because if something is really hard to you and you dread doing it, that is an indicator that you don't want to do it in the first place. This is just something to think about. Something to make you go, as Arsenio Hall would say. So I want you today to get honest. It's time for us as people just to be honest with ourselves. Be honest in your relationships, whether that's your spiritual relationship, whether it's your intimate relationships, your family relationships, with your finances, because I hear people say, oh, it's hard for me to save money. Honey, that's because you don't want to save it. It's hard for me to stay on the budget. That's because you have no discipline and you don't want to save money. Because anything that you don't want to do, it's going to be amplified. It's going to the connection with you doing it is going to be blurred, and it's going to be difficulty. The difficulty level for you doing it is going to be increased because you don't really want to do it. You don't really want to do it. So you have to ask yourself, is this something that I really want to do? Or why am I doing it? Why are you doing it? Are you doing it because It's a societal thing. It's a family thing. It's a cultural thing. You don't want to look bad in front of people, and yet you miserable, and you live in a double, maybe triple life. Because if it's something that you really want, if it's something that you really want to do, even if it's difficult, you will not say, well, this hard anyway. It's really hard to do this. It's really hard because you don't want to do it. If you want to be a great mother, guess what? Whether you will be a great mother, motherhood won't be difficult for you because you want to do it. If you want to be a great husband or a great wife, being that will not be difficult for you because you want to do it. If you want to be a believer and do it right, and not just a churchianity, it will not be difficult for you. If you want to have a certain career, this will not be difficult for you if this is what you truly want. It only becomes difficult when you really don't want to do it. This is Wisdom Wednesday, and this is your Wisdom Wednesday weapon. I am Dr. Tara T. Stallings. Remember to join me every Wednesday, noon Eastern Standard Time. Follow me on all my social media platforms at Let's Talk Tara. Let's Talk Tara. I will see you guys next Wednesday. Have a great week.